Hello, everyone. Here we are. We are at Spoken Word and Poetry Open Mic Night number 9 for Blue Balloon Theatre. Welcome, one and all. Claire's absolutely loving life. I can see you at the top, like dancing. So just a few housekeeping notes, guys. Please do keep your microphone off when other people are performing. It just keeps them in the flow of their poetry, and it means that everyone can enjoy to an unbelievable extent. So do bear that in mind. We might have a couple of people jumping in as the Zoom call sort of goes on, so hopefully you won't even notice. It'll just be me that goes, oh my god, I need to let them in. But I will start off the evening by saying just thank you so much for taking some time to be with us tonight. I can't believe we're at 9, our 9th open mic, and they just seem to get even better every time. So hopefully tonight will be really inspiring, and yeah, we'll have a great time. I am actually going to start off the evening by reading a piece of poetry that I wrote a few days ago, and it came about because I listen to a lot of random artists on Spotify, just musicians that come up randomly. I always just think, yeah, why not? I'll give it a listen, see if I like them. And this song came up called Somewhere We Can Rest, and it was an instrumental piece of music, and it had the most beautiful artwork along with it, and it was sort of animated, and there was something about it that really it just stayed with me for the rest of the day, and I thought I think I need to write something about this, so I wrote this. I dream of the day we can sit, lie side by side in a way that releases the tension we hold on to from the modern world. I dream of the day we can lie under the stars with our hearts as full and calm as the steady sea, just be together. I dream of the day we'll float upward, momentarily suspended from Earth, no gravity, just us and the crescent moon. Thanks. That was number 1. Yeah. I'm really throwing myself in at the deep end tonight, folks. Honestly, I did not prepare for this at all. Cool. And I'll read you one more, actually. If any of you follow me, not Blue Balloon, but just me on social media, you might have seen this because I did I share it yesterday or the day before? I can't remember. Anyway, it came about after a writing prompt was posted by Blue Stocking Theatre, and the prompt was naked, and I felt really inspired by it, so inspired in fact that it kind of took me out of a bit of a mental rut that I was in, so I wanted to share that with you. I'm naked, alone, and all that I see is my reflection looking back at me. My broad but bony shoulders, my toned, tattooed biceps, my small but perky breasts, my wider hips outlining the inner parts of my womanhood, my cellulite, my runner's calves, and the feet that have carried me this far, so far. I take a moment to look, to admire, to adjust any thought that has been unknowingly taught by society. Thoughts that say the way I look isn't the sexiest, fittest, most conventionally pretty, but I'd be a liar if I said I cared, although once I did. With the comfort I feel in my own skin, which was once thin but now thick as thieves, they try to steal my positivity for my body, my identity, the way I feel for myself. As I gaze at my bare skin, battered and bruised from changes I've tried to make, that I continue to shake off, because I am not that person anymore. Plain and simply, I say no. No. Let me say it louder for the people at the back. I have worked hard on myself. I'm hard on myself. And the sense of self I feel in my body, in my soul, has come from losing the comparison of myself to others, of my past self to my present. My body is beautiful now and always was, because it keeps me alive every day in its own unique way, whether or not I am able to keep my demons at bay. But taking these precious moments to stand looking at my reflection has allowed me to be free in my body, naked or clothed, and I owe it to myself to remain, to maintain all that is beautifully me. Thank you, thank you. Really pushing my own limits here. I'm going, right, Becca, you're going to do it. Thank you so much, guys. That I hope you enjoyed that. Bit of a different start to the event than I originally anticipated. But alas, there we have it. That's me done. I'm going to let the next person have a go now. Oh wow, thank you so much. So first up, we would have had Ant, but I'm not sure where Ant is. So we're going to get our next person up, which is the wonderful Steve Mingle. Where are you, Steve? Hello, do you want to unmute yourself and take it?
Must. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, no. Yeah, it's been a bit of a problematic day today. But some of you will find this hard to believe. But the death of Prince Philip has meant that I've had to completely change my set, because he actually featured in one of the poems that I was going to do, but to do it now would be, even by my standards, in exceptionally poor taste. So, so I've had to have a complete rummage and gone a bit old school. So I thought I'd start off by being really self-indulgent and doing a piece which is probably my favourite to perform. It's an old one, but I haven't done it for ages, and it's a piece about being a little lad in a working northern town, which in my case was Ashton-under-Lyne, glamour spot of the north, famous for being the birthplace of Jaffa, England's 1966 World Cup hero, and famous for pretty much nothing else except possibly its market, which is a wonderful thing that I remember with great affection, or mainly great affection, from the days when I used to live there. And so this is called Ashton Market Part 1, which does, of course, carry the rather ominous threat that there may be a Part 2, which there is, but I'm not going to do that one tonight. Ashton Market Part 1. When you were little, the market was the place to be, and always the very first thing you'd see was a row of colourful fruit and veg stalls, selling cauliflowers the size of beach balls. Prices on white card in black marker pen, satsumas, 3 halfpence each, or a shilling for 10. The words special offer were always rife. You've never seen so many apostrophes in your life. We had such simple taste back then. Carrots and cauliflower and cabbage left us all contented. Broccoli hadn't even been invented. If it had, they'd never have been able to sell it, certainly wouldn't have been able to spell it. And as for asparagus, well, good luck with that. There was no place for fancy exotic produce on Ashton Market. I'd often go with me gran, and if she stopped for a natter with Elsie or Lizzie, she'd let me go off and buy something fizzy at a stall where cordial from a well-stocked bar, stored in what looked like a specimen jar, was topped up with soda water dispensed from a siphon. And when the nice lady came to serve me, I'd always tell her, please can I have a sarsaparilla? For some, an acquired taste, for others, a never to be acquired taste. For a 9-year-old, the epitome of sophisticated taste, edging even the mysterious Mancunian magnificence of Vimto into second place in the hit parade of cool refreshments available on Ashton Market. When I got back to my gran, her eyes were sometimes red from crying, as she'd spent another week desperately trying to make ends meet. And on the days when she went in to pay the rent, I knew straight away this meant that when the window cleaner came for his money or the insurance man came round, we'd have to stay silent and hit the ground and pretend nobody was in. Keeping all the balls in the air was a hopeless task, a bit like a Tommy Cooper juggling act, but not quite so funny. And yet on the market, she'd somehow always find the money to buy me an ice cream. And even as a nipper, I couldn't help but note that all the women she talked to were in the same boat. A problem shared was a problem halved on Ashton Market. And on weekdays, there were lots of people to share it with, as the market ground became a kaleidoscope of colourful shopping trolleys with garish tartan patterns, wheeled through the open spaces by hunched figures with wizened, haggard faces, all desperately short of dough, all with nowhere else to go, old before their time, bodies broken by decades of manual labour, futures with so very little to savour, enduring, not enjoying a retirement that would be short-lived and joyless, and increasingly propped up by walking sticks and frames. And one by one, these familiar faces would disappear, and instinctively, you'd always fear the worst, and usually you were right. But at least they'd had their 70 and maybe another 5. But one day in 1965, a woman, dark-wigged over peroxide blonde hair, and a sinister man with an unsettling stare, brought unspeakable evil to the market, luring a young boy into their car with the promise to take him to his door. But instead, they buried him on Saddleworth Moor. And not one person then had the slightest understanding of why the hell they just abolished hanging. But in time, most came to change their mind. Instant death? That's far too kind. Let them live every day with the memory of what they've done. They indeed might sleep, but they will never dream. And our mums and our dads and our grands and our granddads and our aunts and our uncles and our friends and our neighbours would hammer home the mortal dangers of ever accepting lifts from strangers. So ingrained did this mantra become, so often did we hear them say it, that even now we still obey it. And if a driver stops to ask the way or someone stops us for a light, our instincts to step back as if in fright, our lack of faith in human nature cemented at such a young age. These days they call it being streetwise, but really, wouldn't it be nice to trust people a little more? But we never forget that we are the lucky ones, because even when the sun shines through and the sky's an unbroken sea of blue, there's a corner shrouded in permanent darkness on Ashton Market. Thank you. Now, thank you. This is, I put this one in as a late sub. I had intended to do this, and I thought, well, I did a football one last time, and for sure not all of you are going to enjoy this. Indeed, maybe none of you will enjoy it, but I will. So this is a piece which is inspired by Jazz, who is sort of with us today, but apparently still lying in bed, who last time did an absolutely magnificent piece, which was a collection of haikus, a haiku for every man she'd ever dated. And I've never done any haikus before. I couldn't quite sort of get to grips with them. But I thought, well, if Jazz can do a haiku for every man she's ever dated, I could do a haiku for every Man United player I've ever hated. And so that's what I thought I'd try and put together. Now, yeah, I have to say that Jazz's list was impressively long, but it is as nothing to the quantity of vitriol that I am capable of producing for you tonight. But I thought, in the interest of time, because this would take me till a week next Tuesday, what I'll do is give you a kind of match of the day edited highlights rather than the full 90 minutes or the 98 minutes if you allow for Fergie time. So for those of you who are not really into football or don't really understand what Manchester United means, I'm going to start off with a few more general haiku observations on the culture of this organisation before moving on to the individual players. Okay. Manchester United, vile institution. No one likes us, we don't care. Morally bankrupt. Club ethos. We're bigger than you. Divine right to win trophies. We do what we want. Women's Super League, last big club to join. No money in women's game. Why should we bother? Player mentality. We're above the law and behave like low-life scum on and off the pitch. Ryan Giggs, No woman is safe. Can't keep it in his trousers. Tears families apart. Roy Keane, total psychopath. Mass murderer without doubt. Should be behind bars. David Beckham, thick as a short plank. Vapid attention seeker. His wife's even worse. Alex Ferguson, bad-tempered bully. Bribed numerous referees. Truly evil man. Wayne Rooney, club record scorer. Potato-headed numpty. Fat granny shagger. Bobby Charlton, miserable git. Massively overrated. Proven ticket tout. George Best, shagged Miss Worlds galore. Admittedly quite skillful. Drank himself to death. Jose Mourinho, planet-sized ego. Tactics come from the Stone Age, not special at all. Cristiano Ronaldo, in love with himself. Brilliantine narcissist. Mirrors everywhere. Brian Robson, slimy closet perv. Loiters outside ladies' loos, exposing himself. Rio Ferdinand, undulating lips. Famous for missing drug test. Camel-gobbed junkie. Gary Neville, what a piece of work. Horrific individual. Looks like a gargoyle. Philip Neville, Albert Steptoe lives. Can't string two words together. Good at scaring kids. Peter Schmeichel, arrogant loudmouth. Statuesque Danish zombie. Hopeless on Strictly. Eric Cantona, multiple loose screws. Thinks he's a philosopher. Kung Fu specialist. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, way out of his depth. He'll never win anything. Keep him at the wheel. Old Trafford, theatre of greed. Garish red monstrosity. Cricket ground's nicer. Their owners, the Glazers, bleeding the club dry, hated by United fans. Don't you just love them? Dennis Law, the one exception, the only true red hero, king of the back heel. Thank you. Thanks very much. I have got another. Am I allowed another one, Becca? Or but if you count each haiku as an individual one, I've already done about 30 odd. But
go for it, Steve. Do more.
Oh, bloody hell! I don't, what have I got here? I've got all this blooming paper. Here we go. Yes. Right. Yeah, okay, this is one or two you might have heard before. This is the only one that's actually kind of topical now. And we've only got, what, 3 days to go before we can go and have a drink, albeit in the rain and miserable weather, but it's going to be really special. So this is probably the last time I'm going to be able to do this piece. And it's about what we've been through, in particular, the last 4 months. And the kind of the repeated Groundhog Day, the monotony, the relentless boredom of every day being pretty much the same as we wait desperately for things to improve. And this is called Relentless. Peering through the window pane at gloomy skies and pouring rain, me holiday plans are down the drain. What I'd give to get onto a plane or even on a bloody train. But the powers that be have made it plain. From travelling we must abstain. So indoors we must all remain, living life in the very slow lane. This incarceration's inhumane, life so relentlessly mundane. We're not allowed to entertain, so we watch the telly yet again, where with utterances so inane, ministers pile on the pain, creatives treated with disdain. What's your problem? Just retrain. Next election, you'll be slain. Those experts exercise your brain with their educational campaign. We watch in fear when they explain how the virus lives on cellophane. From their evidence, they ascertain the infection rate's now on the wane, but can't eradicate it, just contain, and pray that vaccines break this chain. This sacrifice mustn't be in vain. Can't face this cycle yet again. So though it goes against the grain and causes grievous mental strain, from fun and frolics we must refrain. It's really pointless to complain. So much to lose, so little to gain. So let's try to keep each other sane until the day they finally deign to let us out to drink champagne, or a French red from some posh domain, or a double vodka from Ukraine, or a Prosecco, or a Guinness, or a pint of real ale, or a gin and tonic, or a trendy cocktail, or a San Miguel, or a Peroni, or a Coors Light, or a cheap and nasty buy 2 glasses free, get the rest of the bottle free, house white, or a paint strip of brandy, or a half a shandy, or a bottle of sickly sweet flavoured cider with more E numbers than you can shake a stick at, or a pint of warm gassy beer in a plastic glass. Anything really, anything at all. Please just let us out. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. That was absolutely brilliant.
Thanks, everyone.
Some really, really smashing comments there. And if you do have time, Steve, scroll back up to the comments about your United haikus, because the comments were brilliant.
I'll have a shufty. Thanks ever so much, everyone.
Thank you, Steve. Amazing. Well, next up, we have got, I'm really excited that Ant is here tonight, because I really, really enjoy his work. And if you haven't heard Ant's work already, go and check him out on social media, because it's brilliant. So with a very warm welcome, I'd like to bring Ant onto the screen. I would say onto the stage, but we're not in a venue, sadly. Ant, are you there?
I am. Hello, can you hear me all? Is that okay? I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry I was late. I've had a tech nightmare. Also, look, elephant in the room, plaster across the nose. It's been a bit of a day. Not that bad. Don't worry. It's actually really pathetic what happened. And it wasn't a fight. It was a mask. So, yeah, welcome to my room. I'm stood up. I've done so many lives where I've not actually been, I've just been sat down, and I hate it. And I don't want to be sat down anymore. I've sat so long that I've got big feet like the elephant. So basically, yeah, I stood up to do this bit. I've got 3 bits for you. Now, if anyone ever saw my, if anyone saw, I can see the comments at the same time, so it's quite good. If anyone ever saw my freedom of expression that I did for Blue Balloon Theatre, that I did online for them during their birthday week, you might know 1 or 2 of these bits. So I've got 3 bits for you. The first bit is called Sold Out. It's a poem about selling yourself out for love or relationships, or what happens afterwards and when you feel sold out. And it goes like this. I feel like chicken tonight, like chicken tonight, like chicken tonight. I just don't feel right. And I know I'm feeling weaker when I really should be stronger, but I'm not pal by Joe and sell the battery. That's the battery. That lasts long. You see, there's a saying. You just take the smooth with the rough, but I'm not the Milky Bar kid. He's strong and tough, and only the best is good enough. The creamiest milk, the whitest bar, the good taste of Nestle, Milky Bar. Maybe I should man up, grab a Snickers, get some nuts, but my heart feels broken like a Yorkie bar dropped to the ground. That's not well sold to girls. You see, a relationship that slowly fades and dies over time, constantly shaken back, put the freshness back. No, I feel like I'm jumping through hoops like giant polos, the mint with a hole, and I don't know what to do, and you only get an ooh with typhoon. So I'm planting my seeds of hopes into lines and hoping those beans of hopes will flourish. I remember beans, means, Heinz. My friends are saying, Ant, you're going too fast, you're trying too hard. There's always alternatives, and they're right. Because for everything else, there's MasterCard, and it's all because the lady loves milk tray. But not me. Maybe I should just take a break. Have a Kit Kat, but oh, 2 we are better connected. I totally believe. I have no uncertainty. Mobile life is for sharing, but she had the most beautiful eyes that I'd ever seen. Maybe she was born with it. Maybe it was Maybelline. And I wanted those eyes to fall upon me, so me and her could just restart this. But I feel like I'm missing something. That Max Factor, the makeup of makeup artists. And I wish I could say my name was wrong. seal. Exactly what it says in the tin, or John Smith's no nonsense, but I can't do any of that because my brain's mashed. And then for mash, eat, smash. But she was so good like Cravendale milk. Even the cows want it back. But if you saw her, oh, you would agree she had this kind of Kiora. And everybody knows if you see her out and about, her beauty hits you like Clavonia. Cough medicine with clout. She had the most beautifully built body that I'd ever seen. She also sort of had the temperament of a queen, and she'd eat nothing but the most healthy prepared cuisine. I suppose in many ways you could say she was a lean, mean, fat-reducing grilling machine, but I don't have that. Now my own. But let me tell you, 9 miles a day helps you work, rest and play, and happiness is not a cigar called Hamlet. And even though Heineken refreshes parts that other beers cannot reach, the answers are not at the bottom of a bottle. You have to get up each day and go to work on an egg. Take each day a Nike and just do it. And try to forget holding your hands that feel as soft as your face when you use mild green fairy liquid. And how just flake apart in her company like only the flakiest chocolate, like chocolate's never tasted before, and I need to pick up myself like if I've ever picked up a penguin, because I know that I've been tangoed. I feel like Aldi, like brands but only cheaper, and I remain upset and cry every night, but at least I can dry my tears using one sheet. That does plenty. And I'll try and reinvent myself, and I'll do it by the book, and I'll try and give myself that London look, because the future's bright, the future's orange, but it's not Terry's, it's mine. And I shall try and live like Sainsbury's and live well for less, and everyone that I know and everyone that I love will be my Tesco's, because every little helps, and I'll try not to resent myself when alone at night, because love it or hate it, that's Marmite. And I shall do all this when I never fully forget she was my Gillette, the best a man can get. And for a while, she was my everything. For a while, she was my one. But maybe, just maybe, I need to accept that she's washing machines last longer with Cal gone. So that's the first bit. That's sold out. Thank you. It's quite a lot. That it's roughly 41 adverts, and I added up how much each one would cost if it was like not a service that would have like variables and this, that, and the other. It costs roughly £290.72 for every item you could buy at its cheapest price that is an actual item and not a service. So it's actually kind of an expensive poem to do. So cheers. So the next poem is, who likes dad jokes? Does anyone like dad jokes? Just let us know. This is called Dad Jokes. It's just a load of dad jokes. Loved and hated by millions, apparently invented by us blokes. This is just a load of dad jokes. Did you ever hear what happened at the human day bollocks? This is just a load of dad jokes. Did you hear what happened at the local zoo? They had too many penguins and didn't know what to do, so they rounded them all up and threw them into the lion's feeding trough. The frenzy went on for hours because they couldn't get the wrappers off. Loved and hated by millions, apparently invented by us blokes. This is just a load of dad jokes. Two dogs go out drinking all sorts of alcoholic stuff. They wake up the next day, one looks at the other and says, "How do you feel?" The other goes, "Rough." A cheese factory exploded in France. There was nothing left but debris. I threw my boomerang away. Why did I need it? And then it hit me. I went to a restaurant on the moon. It had great food and great beer, but I didn't stick around for long, though, because it had no atmosphere. And then I went to a wedding. It was beautiful. Even the cake was in tears. I got let go of my favourite job the other day. It was a human cannonball. I was fired. Why did the bike fall over? Well, it was just too tired. A horse walks into a bar, and the bar owner goes, "Why the long face?" He then tells the bar owner that he just tried to sue an airline company after it lost his luggage, but sadly he lost his case. So I all my used pots of spices. It was a complete waste of time. I invited a mushroom to my party. Well, he seemed like a fun guy, but I'm only friends with 25 letters of the alphabet. Don't know why. When I saw I had grey hairs in my beard, I thought I'm going to die. Them a different colour. Look, all right, I get it. If you think that's a rubbish joke about the expense of getting old, I have a boring life and a boring job. I work in a paper factory where my responsibilities are twofold. Robbed a calendar from a calendar shop the other day. Wasn't one of my cleverest stunts. Police turned up. I got arrested. I only got 12 months. Police were then sent to. I love that bit. That's just for me. Police then got sent to a nursery because a 2-year-old was resisting arrest. They brought in an investigator. Yeah, it turned out it was just an alligator in a vest. Look, dad jokes aren't easy. I am trying my best. I wrote a song about a tortilla. Well, actually, it was more of a rap. I got asked to put the cat out. I didn't dare someone set fire to the cat. Loved and hated by millions, apparently invented by us blokes. Well, that That was just a load of dad jokes. Now, these jokes were all awful, but I thought they were quite shareable. I wrote them all here on paper, so I'm sorry. They were terrible. That's dad jokes, thank you. And I've got one more for myself, unless I've got more time, then I've got two more, but like I've got one more, and it's not this one, it's this one. So one thing that I've been looking into an awful lot is neurodiversity, what that means and different aspects of it. Now, I'm dyslexic myself, have been all my life, only found out properly, I got certified at the last year of my university. So yeah, in my last year of university, I found out that I got it certificated that I was dyslexic, because it's expensive, not always known, and this, that, and the other. So I've been looking into it, and it's one of the reasons I'm a creative. And this poem's all about that. It's called Dyslexia. I still haven't fully learnt it yet, but I've made an animation about it on my Instagram, which is this poem to music and with a little bit of animation and artwork. That it's very simple stuff. But so this is called Dyslexia, and it's about that. I learned that I struggled to write from an early age. The words that were in my head got lost in transition to the page. Words sometimes elude me. Growing up as a child, I couldn't keep up with the other kids. What is it they knew that I didn't know? I remember once hearing a teacher say that I might just be a little slow, but, well, I didn't think so. I mean, well, I could read. I got through the magic key books, you know, Biff, Chip, Kipper and Floppy, and I got through other required reading with some speed. I knew what words looked like. I could hear them, understand them, and visualise them in my mind as I read, but that's where they stayed, in my mind, as if trapped behind a wall in my head. B-A-R-R-I-E-R. Check that. Yeah, spells barrier. I wasn't hopeless. I would be able to verbally inform you of the story I was telling, but when it came to someone reading what I had written, they, like me, got lost amongst the spelling. Spells, S-P-E-L-L, spells, that's how magic, that's what spelling seemed to me. I want to tell you stories of robot knights and robot dragons in distant galaxies, but in the process of processing my procreational thoughts into a coherent collection of words to create a story for the reader to digest first time, I'd fail at the fundamentals, like spelling wizard with an S. E-M-B-A-R-R-A-S-S-E-D spells embarrassed. Yeah, I was embarrassed. You know, it wasn't nice growing up knowing that you just wasn't very good at writing, knowing that parts of your brain are caught up in some sort of existential fighting, having to reread sentences to make sure they fully sunk in, being asked to write an essay under a set time limit in exam conditions to make my head spin, but I was lucky, because I found another way to give the words and thoughts and feelings that are in my head, and that was through being creative. It was like a door was opened up to me, a communicational tool I could use to not feel like an oddity, a chance to explore the frustrations I felt struggling to get the sequences to sequent correctly. In order to earn that grade or explain myself and play my hand against the hand that my mind had played itself. So that is what I did. C-O-N-F-I-D-E-N-C-E spells confidence. You see, I learned that I see things more as pictures and images in my mind, and yes, reading and writing may take me a little bit more time, but if that's a barrier to me, it's a barrier I can and will climb. And I kind of like that. I don't think I would give it up. I want to own it like it has owned me. I like that maybe I see the world slightly differently. I see words as pictures, I see sequences that can be broken, and I explain and express myself better than what I want to say is spoken. I've seen an issue with my learning, but I never let it try and hold me back. I sat down and tried to figure out the best line of attack, and it was simple. It's just owning the fact. So why did I even bother writing this, which ironically I did struggle with? I wanted to say that maybe what you think is a failing might actually be a plus, to celebrate the diversity found in all of us. So yeah, I may struggle to read and write sometimes. But I've learnt a way to happily muddle on through, and doing that has led me right here, performing my poetry to you. and I'm happy. Because what I want to really say is, but I don't have to read this anymore, is don't let your perceived flaws be locked doors. Maybe they're just a key, another way to open a door to see the world in its beautiful diversity. And never ever give up. Thanks. I think that's my time now. I don't know. I don't think I've got time for any more, do I? So thank you very, very much.
I mean, and that was absolutely amazing. But if you wanted to do another one, you'd be welcome to.
If that's okay with everyone, if you want me to do one more, I've got a very short one, if that's okay.
Go for it.
Wonderful. Okay. It's written here somewhere. Okay. It was on my feet, that's where it was. Okay, so I am a very proud Sangronan. And I don't know if anyone knows what that means, but that basically means born by the sea or made of sand. It's often used to describe people from Blackpool, or a Blackpudlian, if you want to put it in a different way. And I am originally from Blackpool. I'm very proud of it, and I miss it dearly. And I really want to go home and see my mum and dad again. Not been able to do that for quite some time. I want to see my family, and I want to see, for me, the tower. That is a symbol of home, and I always get excited on the train when I'm going home to first see it and stuff like that. So I wrote a piece called Home Again on my Instagram. I did this to some music and some footage. It's very short. It's just trying to explain a little bit how I feel. Home, a place where I know I can always go. Feel the breath of the sea and the sand from which I am grown. A tower shining bright in the dead of night, a beacon of hope, yeah, that's my home. You see, to me, it's not just a plot of land, it's memories. Where I took my first steps, found love and regret, where my heart is still set. And those memories of mine, from time to time, I project upon the screens of my subconscious like shadow puppetry silhouettes. I play them out in my head, in my own pace, in my own personal headspace, hippodrome. The seagulls sing the songs of home. Thank you, I'll stop now. Thank you so much. Have a great night, everyone.
Thank you so much, and that was absolutely smashing. What more can we say? I particularly connected with the dyslexia poem, because I found out at uni I was dyslexic too, and it was like it was a really poignant moment of my training, because suddenly I was like, oh my god, I can't do this anymore. And it's once you realise that actually you can carry on, you just see the world a little bit differently and you process things a little bit differently. So thank you for sharing that tonight, and that's really, really, it's hit me, but in a really good way. There's some amazing comments in the chat, so do check those out, and the same goes for Steve as well. You might have to do a little bit of scrolling up, but it's amazing to see such lovely comments. Thank you for being so supportive, everyone. So next up we have an amazing new performer, and I'm really, really excited to see her do her thing. Faye, where are you, my love? Let's get you on.
Hello.
Hello. Take it away, my love.
I'm very nervous. I'm so new to this that I'm absolutely petrified.
Don't worry, my love. We are here for you. If you make a mistake, don't worry.
Okay, yeah, I might make mistakes. I might.
Everyone makes mistakes. I do it all the time. So just know that we are here for you.
Thank you. Right, everyone. Okay, so should I just go straight into it, or is that what I'm going to do? Yeah, sweet. Right, so my first poem is about the 80s. I grew up in the 80s, yeah? So cool time. And my kids are all like young girls now, and even they love the 80s, and they didn't even grow up in it, do you know what I mean? Everything the 80s. So here we go. Candy floss lipstick, electric blue eyeliner and mascara. What was that about? My eyes are brown. Hop on the 252 for a new outfit from Puma Brothers in town. Maybe some pedal pushers or a rah-rah skirt. And I'll buy some insect mousse from a wet look perm. I loved my perfumes, exclamation, or white musk from the Body Shop. Mum had Lulu and Giorgio Beverly Hills. The Clash, the Beastie Boys, Culture Club, the Smiths and Wham, Soul Nation. The music was ace that played out of our stations. Sunday was Bath and Bullseye. In the morning, banana clip in my hair, smoke fags on the way to school, thinking I'm cool. I didn't listen to the teachers playing the fool. Sit round with my mates talking about lads, eating Monster Munch Star Bars, Jawbreakers from the 4 shops. Chip butties made with a chip pan, waiting for the Alpine Man. The 80s, what a time, will always be great memories of mine. Thank you. Right, thank you. What I have to do now is I have to tell my girls that they've got to be, my girls are in there, right? The kids are just there, but I can hear them. So I have to just like tell them now. I won't be a minute, let me just tell them.
No worries, Faye, do what you need to do. That was brilliant, that. Love that. I just feel like everyone can connect to that, whether they were alive in the 80s or not. Do you know what I mean? And I love that. I actually love that. I think she's telling him off.
Right, this next one now, I wasn't going to do this one, well, I was, but it's quite personal. My mum and dad celebrate their 50th wedding anniversary tomorrow, so it's a golden wedding anniversary. So I wrote this for them. So I thought, it's tomorrow, I've got to do it. I've got to do it tonight. I've got to share it with you. So here we go. 2 young loves start a new beginning together. They didn't know if it would last forever. Each new year, a new joy. Is it a girl or is it a boy? 11 beautiful new loves came along. Always something new going on. Always strong. They had the busiest of lives with the biggest of hearts, full of love, precious blessings from above. As the years go by on their new adventures, still so young at heart, waking up to more new days, yes, with a few more greys. This love will never tire or feel old, forever true and always new. The young loves who didn't know how it would go the day they married 50 years ago. Thank you. So, right, my girls have calmed down now. I'm just like, they've been so good the whole time. And then when it was my turn, I'm just like, oh my God. I've got like 3 girls and they're just like, but they're being quiet now, thank God. So this next one, my last one, I'm 4 years, nearly 5 years into recovery from alcoholism. And my writing has started because of, sorry, I get quite emotional, because of my recovery. I only started writing last year, but the last 4 years of have become so precious. And you know what I mean? I see things now in a totally different light to how I used to see it. So I believe my writing is a gift coming from my recovery. And it's been given to me to help me get through my recovery. So, you know, I don't know. I'm just amazed. I come out of school with nothing. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know. My grammar's not great. This time, you know what I mean? But when I write, it's coming from here. Do you know what I mean? It's coming from in there and like all my feelings and my emotions. So this next poem now, my last poem, is called "Don't Come Back to Haunt Me," which is piss me, don't come back. Do you know what I mean? It's the ghost of me, yeah. So this was called "Don't Come Back to Haunt Me." Don't come back to haunt me, the ghost of me in the past. If you do, I'm going to run away fast. You're all about me and who I don't want to see. You're someone I don't ever want to be. With all my old behaviours, lots of fears, fragile emotions and tears. Be gone with you, with your slurred words and your pity party. Don't come around here bothering me. I know what to do. I have a power now and it's bigger than you. And to that I'll always pray, to keep the ghost of me in the past forever away. Thank you. Thank you.
You are so welcome. Thank you for sharing that with us. That was brilliant. And what an amazing journey you've come on. And just thank you for being so open about it as well. I'm sure so many people will feel incredibly proud of you. I know I certainly feel proud of you. And welcome to the Blue Balloon family as well. Woo! Oh, wow.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure, an absolute pleasure. And I'm sure you'll be at our future open mics as well. I can't wait.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you so much.
No worries. Amazing. Wow, that was just, oh God, my heart. Wow. Well, let's go on to another artist, another new artist for us. She came to our last open mic and she had a watch and she loved it, and she's been sharing loads of work with us, and we've been sharing it on our page, and I'm really excited to invite Magdalena on today. So Magdalena, unmute yourself, gal, get yourself on the screen and take it away.
Hello. I've got 3 poems today, I think. I'm going to start with this one. It's a bit more like serious and personal, and then I've got something more fun coming up later. We also have Barry with us today. Barry is a chocolate aubergine. I got this for Easter and he was so special I wrote a poem about him, but that's going to be the last one because it also fits with this week's writing prompt, I think. I'm not sure, I tried. But I'm gonna go with this one for now. It's called The Power of Interpretive Dance. Once upon a time, in the forest of magical trees, lived a group of ladybirds. They were perfect creatures, talented with dancing and words. The ladybirds were looked after by a fly, who liked to sometimes get high. The fly didn't always have nice things to say about who they had seen earlier that day. They would start by saying if the insect was fat, then they would specify the colour of the hat, and if the insect was fat, they would also say, imagine how much they must have eaten today. And so our small hero, Raindrop its name, learns the rules of the carer's game. They thought to have value in the fly's eyes, they'd have to avoid all of the pies. And so Raindrop started to count and to skip, wanting to lose the perfect bodies every last bit. Raindrop was young, the brain not yet formed, and so to every imagined wish they had conformed. But when you plant a seed in such a small brain, it does not wash out during the rain. The ladybird grew up, left its family house, always malnourished, the shade of a field mouse. Raindrop thought it was living its life, married and divorced a ladybird's wife. Some days they lived in the other gender. They always supported the gay agenda, but unlike the other males who went to the gym, they had only wished to forever stay slim. They knew they were different, for on the break, they were the only ones without a protein milkshake. The other lads strove to always be bigger. This one dreamed of extracting its fat with a digger. Then there were days on its feminine side, forever feeling that they had to hide. Have you ever scrolled down through New Looks ads? Girls so unhealthy that they would never need pads. But somehow, this was the ladybird's dream. It refused the joy of having whipped cream. And there were days when it got sad, and there were days that got really bad. A biology field trip. Someone had put them on a life drip. Raindrop felt a powerful rage. Unable to get out, they were kept in a cage. The human gave it some normal food. It pained, but the energy was good. And slowly Raindrop began to recover. New priorities it began to discover. Food control broke, survival instincts kicked in. Raindrop no longer unnaturally thin. Its body felt like that of another, but everyone told them, you're looking so well. Raindrop's eyes suddenly started to swell. What in the future was there to find, now that toxic part had been left behind? but some of that toxic part would still stay. Raindrop is living with it today. But everyone told them they were looking so well, when inside their heads they were living in hell. But everyone told them they were looking so well, so when they struggled, who could they tell? But no one knew this was the hard part. Everything they'd known about themselves was broken apart. And sometimes when friends asked if they'd go for a ride, Raindrop made up some lie. They wanted to hide, tucked in a blanket tight as a seal. No one could see them after a meal. Did Raindrop look different? Of course they did not. But with a meal inside them, they could never feel hot. They invented a reason to get out of sex. They ruined the chance of getting back with an ex, all because they needed to hide. No one understood this part of the ride. Stuck in a blanket full of self-hate, too embarrassed to even message a mate. What was the logic? The mate could not see, but Raindrop felt like they swelled to the size of a bee. And the pain in the heart was swelling too. They wanted someone to hold them like glue. They felt so alone. To whom could they say, I regret everything I have eaten today? They walked out of the house. The moonlight glowed. Suddenly all of Raindrop's tears had flowed. With the tears gushing, they felt a release. They suddenly noticed the movement on trees. They found themselves lost in a trance, what people call an interpretive dance. Every emotion felt was a move of the body, all of the feelings this dance could embody, and so the insects came out to see. A weird dance, what could this be? But when they actually started to look, everything laid out like a page in a book, and they could see the ladybird's story, all of the moments they had felt gory, and now they saw the pain underneath. Quick recovery was really a myth. The audience wondered what could they do, but for Raindrop, it was enough that they did not boo. And as they finished the interpretive dance, they felt the power to give life any chance. And even on days they felt the low mood, it was enough, someone now understood. That was the first one, thank you. It's kind of based on personal experience, but I made up the character of the ladybird to make it like more separate, and also I wanted to put the part in there where he changes gender, because I know, like, I've had male friends who have struggled with this too, and it's something that's not really spoken about, so I just wanted to include that in the poem as well. Let me just find the other one. Okay, now we've got a poem about a baby unicorn. It was the middle of a cold winter, a long time ago, and a small unicorn was born among the snow. The mother let out a massive groan. There was no one to help her. She was alone. But before her joy got any further, her unicorn turned the colour of heather. The snow was so cold, they would soon freeze. Unicorn death could never be masked by Febreze. How to avoid death, someone might ask, for it really was no easy task. How to stay warm on the hard ground, it seemed like there was no one around. The mother was worried. They didn't have long, she didn't know what to do. She started singing a song for the trees, the snow and the land, anything she saw which was at hand. And out of the land came a small sheep. Unicorn mother, why do you weep? I weep for my child, almost frozen to death. I'm worried soon they won't take any breath. The sheep could not stand that, it could not be true. But first of all it drank some iron brew. The animal turned orange, all its fur then turned blue. The mother's eyes were fixated on it like glue. But it was not enough. One sheep could not give all the wool a unicorn baby would need. Next came a cow. The cow was green, for it consumed grass like a machine. The cow was covered in a layer of fluff. It was enough to make some warm stuff, but a unicorn wearing fluff would still feel rough. After the sheep and the cow came a man from the farm, a big murder tool clutched tight in his arm. But when the man saw what the sheep and the cow could give, he remembered his burger, and he started to heave. The big murder tool fell down on the rocks. Unicorn child, have some indigo socks. Then the man left. His head hung down low. His shoes left marks in the glittering snow. To the relief of our readers came a plant-based banana. It was non-binary, but it chose the name Hannah. Hannah loved crochet. They had lots of wool. The colour was so nice, it could make a banana drool. But the danger was present, and the danger was near, the mother and child consumed by their fear. And the danger was great, for out of the sky came out all the snowflakes that were ready to fly. And at that moment, the unicorn let out a small cry, for it was ready to say its final goodbye. But the cry was heard on the roads far away, by a wandering pilgrim who knew not where to stay. On his back he carried his bedding, not washed since he was at Reading, and the bedding was violet and red in places. It was embroidered with little faces. The unicorn stared. Suddenly it was warm. The colours of the rainbow made it feel at home, and the animals and the banana rejoiced. The unicorn had found its woolly gay voice. That was that one. I'm just getting my next poem ready. One second. I'm just going to read it from here, I think. Okay, so this one was written for the Writing Prompt Explore, and it's also about Barry. I'm not sure if it would make much sense without the context, which is that Barry is a fake aubergine made from fake, aka vegan chocolate. So he struggles to fit in with vegetables, and he also struggles to fit in with standard chocolate. And eventually he finds a place he belongs in one of our favourite shops. Okay, so when the darkness ended, when he first saw light, Barry understood the miracle of sight. He stood alone in an unfamiliar place, surrounded by knives, pans, and empty grey space. Suddenly a hand picked him up. It was time to go to another place he wasn't going to know. His person drove. It was dark in the bag. A human couldn't go shopping without his snack. The aubergine shivered. It was cold in the car. He wondered why they were driving so far. They stopped by a market, Barry still in the bag. From the stands, someone called him a slag. An aubergine looked at him with distaste. Barry wondered if there was something wrong with his face. He was an aubergine too, after all. Why was this one trying to make him feel small? Surely a farmer's market should be the place where he feels accepted and not out of place. Surely this is the stand where he should belong. But the way they stare, he knows that he's wrong. The person takes carrots, holds them close to his chest. The muddy skins rub against his clean vest. But he doesn't mind, and they get in the car. The carrot looks on. They know she's the star. They stop again at a shop full of sweet treats. And here too, the sad story repeats. His person fills a basket with flake after flake. A bar turns around and tells Barry he's fake. One last stop, a shop full of boxes and rooms, playing children, bedrooms and mums. This place is a dream, each room is so clean, and in the toy aisle there is a bean. Just a fluffy toy, but they have so much style. They meet Barry's eyes with a shy smile. Barry wants to know more. He wants to explore. He jumps to freedom in the bedroom galore. All around him lights, and suddenly he sees a row of plastic rectangular bees. And now Barry knows he's not the only one whose body didn't fit the old generic plan. He runs to the bean rushes to him, the cutest stuffed toys we ever have seen. A fluffy hand meets his chocolatey side. Amongst the fake rooms, she will be his guide. She shows him the cafe, everyone's favourite place. A dining experience you can never replace. When a plate of new meatballs came rolling in, Barry knew his joyful days could truly begin. The balls were made of peas, but no one said they were fake. To offend an IKEA meatball would be the biggest mistake. The bean said yes and chose a white dress. It was made of curtains, 5 meters no less. 2 Haribo rings, brought in by a stuffed mouse. The wedding took place at a wooden toy house. But this was still the start of Barry and Bean's tale. The babies became the most popular item on sale. As people came in and profits grew, the other product said, Barry, the future's for you. That was the end. I just want to say, IKEA is not actually selling stuffed toy beans, which is a shame. I would definitely buy a stuffed baked bean, I think, if it was available in IKEA. But they are selling vegan meatballs, which I'm very excited to try next time I go on a road trip. That was all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Magda. That was amazing. Like, I'm just gonna reiterate what I said in the chat. Go and check her out on Instagram, because you make amazing artwork as well, along with your poetry, and it complements the other so well. Your poetry and your little drawings and things, and yeah, everyone should go and check out. Everyone should have a little bit of Magda in their day. That's what I'm trying to say.
Thank you.
You're welcome, my love. And welcome to the Blue Balloon family. Yeah. Amazing. Well, guys, we are exactly halfway through now, and we are going to take a quick break. So you've got about 5 minutes, 5-10 minutes, just to go get some water, get a cup of tea, do whatever you need to do, stretch. If you're getting ready to perform, calm down, it's all right. And we will see you back here in about 5 minutes or so. Hello, everybody. Welcome back for the second half of our 9th open mic. Really looking forward to this second half. We have got another new performer coming up in a moment, but just before we watch their set, I want to take this second to just say thank you to everyone that performed in the first half. You guys were absolutely epic, and you've set the bar so high. What can I say? If you want to shout out us or anyone on social media, please feel free to do that. I mean, it's just lovely to see your comments. It really is, and especially in the chat box. It's been on fire tonight. And we are at Blue Balloon MCR on Instagram, Facebook and Twitter. So let us know what you're thinking and if you've enjoyed any performances in particular. But without further ado, I would like to welcome Steve. Where are you, Steve? Do you want to unmute yourself, and the screen is yours. Where are you, Steve?
Away, I'm coming.
There you are.
You got me?
Yep.
Okay, can you hear me too? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, good. Okay. Right, let me get this cig out the shop. When I was 17 and a half, I moved out to a bed sit above a shop in Old Trafford when it was quite rough. It still is a bit. And I saw some graffiti, and it was the most powerful graffiti I've ever seen in my life, but it meant nothing. It spoke directly, powerfully to your subconscious, and I thought, I'll use that in a title one day when I'm a famous poet. I said to myself at 17 and a half. So anyway, here's what it said. It said, he who uses a frying pan deserves death. Now that's heavy, yes. So this one's called I Love My Frying Pan. I'm weeping all the time, unseen in dry tears, unless I'm alone after dark, praying, please, no more fear. Pretending that anything really matters, thinking of sex whilst enjoying a natter. My chances ever diminishing of hearing that patter, as the world gets brutal and the 1% grow fatter. My subconscious marches to a victorious parade beyond the skirmish, but conscious me thinks, oh bleep, I better become a hermit. Shutters down, supplies in, lockdown on humanity. Because it seems we're being stalked by a societal anarchy. Not freedom, self-autonomy and community for all. These new anarchos have forgotten this and built a wall. But pure chaos, struggle and brutality. But am I creating, projecting this dark reality? Beckoning with fear instead of using will? Have I become like my kidnappers, grotesque and somewhat ill? The twisted up need unravelling. The small-minded bigots need to go off on their own travelling. The narcissist needs to see everything gets balanced and that they once loved their mother. The brainwash must have the balls and the gumption to lift up the cover. Meanwhile, back in the world of the unseen, the good are being strengthened and streamlined, so it seems. The landing field is getting cleared, obstacles removed. When heaven comes to earth, the approach shall be smooth. An army of warriors, shaman and others concealed in the margin. A bloodless coup, a consensus revolution, that's the bargain. All singing, dancing, drawing crew, creating artistic storms. Ionizing the air, precursing the sunny dawn. Of community, love and safe space for all earthborn. For the race is nearly run, time for true colours to be worn. Postscript. John Lennon said, you may say I'm a dreamer, but that's John Lennon there on my shirt. Hold on. If you can see that for a second. John Lennon said, you may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. And I once heard, if you don't have dreams, you have nightmares. In a classic on BBC One. And I say, serious bros and sisterines, let's love and get the work done. Thank you. I can't hear you again. I've gone on mute.
Don't worry, Steve, we can hear you.
Oh, I can hear you now.
Can you hear me? Yeah?
Yeah.
That was brilliant, that.
I've got two more if you've got time.
Yeah, of course. Go for it.
I'll do the Cockatiel. No, I'll do my youth one. I'll save the Cockatiel one for last. Let me just get myself on.
No worries. I'm excited.
Have you got me?
Yeah, we can hear you, no problem.
Okay, this is a short one, so you won't need a huge attention span. So one I wrote about, I hung around with a lot of squatters over a recent period, let's say, and when it needed to be, it was socially distant. Anyway, I learnt loads about the youth, I learnt loads about gender, I learnt loads about patriarchy, and I hope they learnt something from me. So this is dedicated to the squatters I chilled with. It's called God Bless the Youth. Kids getting confused about love, More so they've been deprived rather than had it rough. Childs may have to graft, even steal for food and leisure. Then they spend a lifestyle obsessing with selfish pleasure. Pleasures that pornographize, poems that pervert, thence growing up harbouring grotesque desires and fantasies of hurt. They end up fighting shadows instead of following heart's desires, instead of nurturing their inner fires, instead of reaching higher and higher. You see, there are walls and bridges to everyone in life, whether you've had it hard or you're 2.5 and wife. As this matrix becomes apparent to those who see, awakening the courageous, the compassionful and free, emerging from the shadows, accompanied by those coming from nothing, those they with a fierce heart and a murderous desire for loving. Is it suffer little children to come unto me? 'Cause struggle, even brutality, becomes a perspective when you begin to see. Water a weed seed sparingly, a tempting root bait. Sprinkle the soil with nourishment before it gets too late. Then watch the little one blossom, confident in beauty with roots no longer rotten. A generation to save us, whence they no longer feel damned. And so it is, community grows and sanity lands. And we all march to utopia hand in hand, with this Mancunia bee declaring, nice one, I'm buzzing, that's grand. Thank you.
That was brilliant, Steve. Absolutely brilliant. You got one more, yeah?
Yeah, this is my Cockatiel story. I'm going to try and show you my pet. If I put him on my shoulder, he'd squawk just to put me off. So I'm just going to show you. I'm not making it up. Tell me when the camera can see him.
All right, will do.
It's about him. Can you see him yet?
Yeah, we can see him.
That's my pet Cockatiel, JC. You saying hello, JC? Oh, don't make a fool of me. Oh, anyway. He's called JC for Jeremy Corbyn, Jesus Christ, Joe Cool, Just the Cockatiel, and Jaffa Cheeks.
I like that.
So anyway, I'm in camera, yeah, I am. Right, this is it. So this is a story about me Cockatiel and how I got to have him. But it's also a story of how he became a poet. So this is it, The Search for Paradise. It's a short story, but it's like a poetical one. The Search for Paradise, a Cockatiel's tale. I have a cheeky little cockatiel called JC. He's white and yellow and orange, cheeky, defiant, slightly aggressive and loving. And I love him dearly. This is his story. The little cockatiel perched there, surrounded by vultures, magpies and crows. The little bird's anxiety grew more and more as his sweet serenade suddenly became a squawking of desperation. Whilst he emitted his unsettled cries, the vulture eyed him up hungrily. The magpie sniggered mischievously, and the crow looked on dispassionately. As he looked up to the sky, something not many of the jungle animals did, he sang his silent song to the universe. Why, oh why do you make me a bird of paradise and land me here, where danger and fakery lurk round every corner? How do I protect myself from these hooligan creatures? How can I stay beautiful in such grubby geography? Please, O universe, transform me into a proud golden eagle, which all predators fear, and that can soar free and limitless. Then quite suddenly he paused and arrested his squawking a while. He surveyed his scenery and listened to the sounds of the world. The sun was beaming, the flowers blooming, and the heat-whispering energies were everywhere about and around. Without thinking, he began to sing as his little Mohican shifted to its highest vibrational point. Then the universe spoke. Observe your tail. Does it not display a black hue at the tip? That's the crow. And don't your contrasting colours call to mind the magpie? And is your beak not just as sharp as the vulture's? Sing them your song. Sing of the flowers struggling to seek sunlight amongst entangling weeds. Sing of the young ones playing with their brothers and sisters. Lead the dawn chorus of winged ones as they exalt. We made it through to another day. Wahey! The cockatiel was frozen in thought. Then it occurred to him, I am a winged creation first and then a cockatiel. These birds, I fear, are just like me deep down, feathered, flying and free. Then JC emitted a sweet bird song, sensual and sublime, the singing of his soul. He sang without fear and just for the sake of it, and for what seemed like a lifetime, then just as suddenly, he ceased. The jungle fell silent. The lion wasn't roaring, the snake not hissing. For a moment, the cockatiel had a flash of fear, anticipating sudden attack. But instead, the whole jungle erupted into a noisy, cacophonic chorus of approval that nearly caused JC to plummet off his little perch. He began soaking it up, stepping from side to side, swaying and swooping on the branch that connected him to the other birds on the trees. Then from nowhere, the vulture approached. Yeah, kid, you're a veggie here. And he dropped a honey bar at his feet, uttering, your song, man, it's too much. And then flew off into the distance. And then the magpie came and deposited some shiny foil-like gift, squawking, be lucky, and then hopped off. Finally, the crow got him on his own and said, listen, JC, bro, I noticed the black in your tail immediately. I sing too, but don't tell the jungle that. Fly to the oasis edge with me, and we will sip water together. It seemed a minute away as the crow flies, yet JC had never known of its existence. The crow nibbled his herbs and exclaimed, I sing here with my brothers and sisters. When you sing here, it's possible to get a reply. Then the crow high-fived JC's wing and soared off back to the jungle. Alone, the cockatiel prepared. He stuck his chest out, breathed deeply, then gave his purest whistling serenade for a couple of minutes. A faint, entrancing bird song came back. Was it an echo? But it seemed different somehow, sweeter, higher pitched and more beautiful. JC rested a while at the water's edge and contemplated. If it wasn't an echo, then I must investigate further. This response has captured my heart and made me want to sing forever, and it lies behind the unknown somewhere. I must seek it. To be continued. Thank you. Good night. Thank you, everyone.
That was brilliant, Steve. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Brilliant. And welcome to the Blue Balloon family as well.
I feel like I've been a member for years and I've only just got here.
Oh, what a compliment, Steve. Thank you. That's exactly what we want. And you are...
can put that on your advert if you want.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Thank you so much, Steve. Amazing.
Okay.
Amazing. Cool, right. Oh my goodness me, what a great way to start our second half. I hope everyone enjoyed that. I know I certainly did. Cool. Next up, we've got another new performer, and I'm really looking forward to hearing this wonderful lady's work, because if we were having this chat before, Aisha, correct me if I'm wrong, but you were supposed to perform with us way back when, and yet here we are years later, and it's going to happen this time.
It's going to happen. Despite COVID, despite it all. Hello, everyone. This is my first time ever performing, so it's been really inspirational to see all the other new performers as well. Made me a little less nervous. I was like, oh, they're doing fine, I'll be fine. I've got 3 pieces today. The first one I actually wrote like ages ago. I wrote while I was doing my degree, which is in English and creative writing. It was part of my dissertation of poetry at the end. Dissertation, guys. My dissertation of poetry at the end. And I wrote it. It's called Russian Doll. And I wrote it actually whilst watching a series on Netflix called Russian Doll. I feel like I can very rarely subdue the poet in me, and I just sit and romanticize everything. But, you know, it's nice to see the world like that. And as I was watching it, I was just thinking of the different definitions I gave myself. And then the concept of the Russian doll with the, you know, the big doll, the small doll, just came to mind. And I thought I'd write a poem inspired by it. So here it goes. Russian doll. I am the last of a dying breed. I am the black sheep. I am a combination of chromosomes. I'm the worst part of my parents. I'm the best part of my parents. I am a paradox. I am an interruption. I am an exhibition. I am a fragment of your imagination. I am the key to your imagination. I am restless. I am a skimmed stone. I am displaced. I am restless. I've always been more guns than roses. I'm your worst nightmare. I'm your wildest dreams. I am breaking at the seams. Can't you see? I am a reflection of your darkest desires. I am fire. I am destructive. I am warm. I am bold. I am bright. I will guide you through the night and make you see what it is to be human. I am music. I am ancient. I am new. I am still fitting into my shoes. I am a liar. I am a liar. But I am a firm believer that the truth will out. That of golden words and silver tongues, gold is more precious, and I do not possess precious. I am what happens when a flower is deprived of light. I still flourish at the roots, though my petals are dull. Is this not better? I am a sister. I am a carer. I am looked up to like Lady Liberty. Well, now you mention it, she seems a bit stiff. I am happy, I am sad. I am keeping mum away from dad. He's no good for her and she deserves the best. I am tired. I'm trying. I am haunted by people dying. I have realized that this is part of life and I've still not stopped the crying. I'm a lost cause. I'm a found poem. I am fragmented. I am whole. I am constantly drifting to and from home. I'm afraid of needles and spiders. I believe that fear resides inside us, and once we let go, we'll be as free as Icarus. I'm wax wings melting. I am ambition turned deadly. I am a butterfly in spring. I am fragile. I am ever changing. I am made for changing. I am made from clay. I am God's own design. I am soul in a body, and I'm working on it. I'm trying. I am more than sorrow. I'm waiting for tomorrow. The sun will continue to rise, and I am sure it'll all be worth it in the end. Thank you. Thank you guys. I can hear your clap. The second one is called Confession. And this is about a loved one who passed away. And it came up to 11 years in October. And it's just about that process of every year you kind of relive the same thing again. And this year I got to a point where I felt very guilty for not wanting to relive it again, I guess. So this poem is called Confession, and it's shorter. So Confession. Tell me, my dear, is it cruel, my want to forget? To plead respite for just a sec, so at night I can lay my head, assured that in my dreams I'm not met with treasures I can't yet possess. Is it a selfish of me, my love, for wanting to refrain from paying attention to the inevitable pain that awakens each time I hear your name called out, only for another face to respond? Those eyes aren't yours, but I wish they were. That laugh is sweet, but it doesn't stir the same devotion as yours once did. And now my memories to and fro, trying to make sense of it all. Sharp is the knife that has seen no use, and weak is the mind that has fared abuse of its owner, who has battered and bruised it beyond repair. All to recall the memory of a strand of hair. Golden, last drops of sun. Soft, rose petals undone. Fading, time left unspent. Heaven sent. And that was my confession. Thank you. My last one actually has no name. I have a folder on my notes, as I assume a lot of people do, that I just have a load of writing and loads of ramblings. And my folder is called Unhinged. And I've been posting, or actually this was the first excerpt of that folder. So it's one of my unhinged poems. The first part of it is on my Instagram page, and then the rest of the rambling is hidden away where no one can see, but I'm going to share it with you guys. So, if 1,000 years were to pass in an instant, what would the ground beneath our feet say about the us that we are now? Would it testify to our adoration of one another? How I'm infatuated by the way your eyes wear the sun. Would it be saturated with proclamations of our love? These blades of grass, a vigil for you and I. Could this mud expose secrets of untold misfortunes? A collision course covered by untouched snow? Or would it tell a tale of who we truly are? Blood-stained treaties of peace. Will the soil birth stories of how we ducked and dodged, playing hide and seek with our shadows, only to land first face on the concrete after tripping over our tongues? Pressed flowers jilted in pages of scripture, lifeless, decaying, complete. The story of who we really are. A girl hiding behind charm, and a boy so crippled by the fear of failure, he doesn't dare wish to fly. He didn't know her and she didn't know him. So tell me, how can it be that you and I were so wrong for each other, we gave up trying before even seeing what we could have been? I suppose it's always the could have beens, the what ifs, the maybes, the perhaps if you look close enough, you'll see me. Maybe if you weren't trying to shoot for the stars, you'd realize that the moon is well within reach and ready to be inhabited. Maybe if you planted your feet firmly enough, you wouldn't fall. Maybe your wings are strong enough that if you fluttered a little off the ground, soon you'd be soaring past your worries and into the clouds. Maybe you should trust me more. Maybe you should know yourself. But it's always the maybes that may not be. And that's okay, because you know what? If 1,000 years were to pass in an instant and the ground that we once stood on remained intact, I would want it to testify that my feet were firm, my words were true, and that what I wished for us was pure. Not for you, not so that you could feel better about yourself. No, for me. So that I had a witness for my promise, that never again would I put my heart in the hands of a boy that didn't know himself enough to know that he loved me. And that was that. That because it was me, he would uproot his feet. He would soar past the atmosphere and pick stars for my birthday. And even if he couldn't, he would try. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Aisha. That was, I'm blown away, to be honest. You read so effortlessly. Your poetry was beautiful. And I think I speak for everyone when I say that we were literally walking side by side as you read your poetry. It was like amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that. And welcome to the Blue Balloon family, finally.
I'm so excited to finally be here. I'm so happy to finally be here. Well, thank you guys so much for your very kind words.
It's honestly, it's a pleasure. Very much deserved as well. Wow. Oh God, I'm gonna cry soon, I can tell. Amazing. Well, we have got two more poets for you this evening. Two very, very good poets that I'm very, very excited to introduce you to if you haven't already met them. So the first of those will be Linda. And I believe Linda's brought something new this evening, something new, different and interesting. So I'm really excited now.
Yeah, I thought I'd try something new. Just a minute while I work out what to do with this bloody computer. Okay. So I thought I'd write, well, I started off with the conversation I had with my daughter, and she was talking about a relationship and how people have these conversations in their head that never quite work out. What if he says that and I'll say that, and then he'll say that and then I'll say that, and it never works. So I've been thinking about that, and I was doing a kind of poem around it, and it's kind of turned into a monologue with 3 parts to it. I think it's a monologue anyway. I don't know. But that's what it's about anyway. Okay. Part 1. Let me just move it up a bit. Oh, good. So things aren't great. We've been rowing a lot of late. Lashing out, not listening, attacking, angry and shouting. He's just the most irritating person. I get angry calling names or worse, and it's not helping. I'm on the bus, planning the conversation. I'm thinking, I'll tell him he's lazy. He needs to do more in the house. I'll tell him how, and he'll tell me how tired he is after working long hours. And I'll say, I'm tired when I come off the night shift, but I still clean up, I still know where the washer is. And then he'll probably do the pots for a couple of days, make me a brew, promise to change his ways, but he won't. I could say, we need a cleaner. You won't clean up, so I'm not either. And he'll say, that's ridiculous. You're at home all day. And I'll say, yeah, but I'm asleep mainly. He'll say, he earns more. And I'll say, so what? The flat's ours, joint names, have you forgot? I'll say, I'll cook if you wash up. I'll clean the house if you do the food shop. We could both put a wash in and take turns to do the ironing. And if he agrees to that, we're laughing. So I get off the bus and I'm feeling a bit smug. The fog's lifted from my head and I'm not walking home in dread. I feel lighter, calmer, positive that in about an hour later, everything will be, well, not perfect, but better. I put my key in the door. There's a smell of smoke in the hall. I bristle a bit. I walk through to the living space, where there are glasses and dishes and pieces of yesterdays. I breathe, leave my bag on the sofa and turn to face Steve. He is relaxed, spread-eagled in fact, watching a quiz. This morning's eggs cementing to the plate. I say, I'm sorry I'm late. I explain there are things to say, sit down calmly and tell him he's lazy, he needs to help out more, clear the dishes, pick clothes up off the floor. He barely turns, cuts in with something absurd. Oh, you don't clean the car. What? I drop my head, and just like that, the mood is flat and there's nothing else said. I try again. I take the remote, switch the TV off, and stand in front of him. We need to rethink, Steve. This ain't working. To be honest, he looks shocked. I'm not sure if it's me threatening or the TV off, but I keep going. Look, I'll make the dinners if you do the washing, and I'll clean the house when you go shopping. If we just split everything, then we both have time to enjoy something, anything else. Steve says he's not that kind of man. He's perfectly happy with me and everything just as it is. Can I shift past the remote because he's watching the quiz? I say, here's a question for you. What do you call a man who wants his girlfriend to be his mother? Single, I said. Told him to leave. Part 2. 6 months later, and the flat's sorted. Everything is just how I always wanted. The coffee table with eggy plates and dirty cups swapped for smelly candles and reading books. Cushions that stay on the sofa, coats on hooks, shoes on shelves, no drama. Upstairs, the bed is immaculate. Clothes are put away and there's a lid on the laundry basket. The bathroom's pristine. Towels folded neatly, top on the toothbrush, no streaks on the shower screen. I've bought pictures, plants and throws. I've painted one wall, put drapes at the windows. The rooms smell of black orchid, orange blossom and bergamot. No smoke. No airing running kit. No smelly socks. All the irritations removed. The wrinkles in my life smoothed. This is my Pinterest heaven. So why does it feel broken? Part 3. 2 years on, and none of this matters over time. The lists and agendas bear no reason or rhyme. Only feelings last in the memory. A gentle touch, words that sting or words that are complimentary. Breath on the skin means more than pots in the sink. The touch of fingers lingers longer, and a soft kiss on the neck is stronger than painkillers. Relationships are tense and difficult. We wind a thread of angry words and insults, trying to work out what you can tolerate. But to combine the behavior and the person is a mistake. The things he did or didn't do weren't done in hate. There were no thoughts of me when he left egg on the plate. It's a misunderstanding, a crash landing of mixed messages, a miscommunication of priorities. You can't have practiced conversation. I'll say this, he'll say this, that. He didn't read the script or see the play in my imagination. You need to communicate your roles. You need to communicate the roles you play in your relationship. Decide who does what, what's important, and what can slip. Choose your words. Be respectful, kind, and caring. Passive aggression leads to resentment and blaming. Remember that how it makes you feel may not have been the intention. Drop the anchor of your anger, to be still, to see a mistake in isolation. Open a dialogue and have a conversation. Thank you very much.
That was amazing, Linda. Like, I'm so glad that you read that. Yes. Oh, the end of part 1 had me like, oh my God.
I wanted to do something a bit different. I followed a storyline.
That was absolutely fantastic. Yeah, so many amazing comments as well. Thank you for sharing that. Did you want to share anything else this evening?
No, that was all I had. That was it.
Amazing. Well, I'm not going to forget that anytime soon. That was brilliant. Thank you so much, Linda. Yeah, again, amazing work. Amazing. Yes, I love it. Right. I can't believe it, guys. We're at our last performer of the evening. And Linda, if you haven't read the comments in the chat, do go and read them, because they're fantastic. They're really fantastic, and you deserve all the praise for that. So finally, we have got the wonderful Clare Louise coming on a little bit last minute, but she's got a new poem for us. And if you were at our last open mic, you'll know that Clare's amazing anyway, so this is going to be fab. And Clare, the screen is yours.
Thank you very much. I'm going to read it from my computer, so I'm going to minimize you now. I can only see Becca right now. Hi, Becca. So this is it's very new. I wrote it this week. So I'm still figuring it out. So any feedback, as always, is more than welcome. And it's just thinking about literacy, and I was thinking about it a lot with the amazingness, that's definitely a word, of reading, and just, the importance of instilling that love of reading from a young age. And I'm thinking about how amazing words are. So yeah, it's called I Care About Literacy. I care about literacy. I care about finding each, and yes, every tiny letter making new words to my eyes. There's patterns on the pages, and I've sat here to decipher them carefully, listening to every noisy portal sound out of my ears. These pages stand before me, and I care about finding the purpose in paper and those sounds ink makes in your head. There's swirls and lines on this thin fabric, and I'm not all there yet, but I will be. Because yes, every letter becomes a word, becomes meaning to me with care and accuracy and love. I finally find what my eyes have been showing me carefully, actually knowing more than I can see. Yeah. Thanks. That's me.
That was brilliant, Clare. Oh, what a little burst of goodness that was.
Thank
you. I'm sure there'll be like a flood of comments in a minute, so keep your eye on the chat box. Just brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Thank you, Clare, and thank you for stepping in at such last minute as well. That was, yeah.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure. That was a short one. I forgot to say it's really short. I only write really short poems. But yeah, thank you for having me. I was just looking forward to coming anyway. So
Yeah, that's what we like. Amazing. Well, guys, we have reached the end of our 9th open mic, and it has been an absolute pleasure to host this. Some incredible work, some incredible poets. To everyone that's performed with us this evening, thank you so much. And to all you newbies as well, like I've said, welcome to the Blue Balloon family. You are always welcome at any of our events, like legit. If you enjoyed this evening, let us know on social media. We are at Blue Balloon NCR. We would love to know what you thought. And yeah, just spread the word, like bring people along to the next ones that we have. Our 10th is going to be pretty epic, if I do say so myself. I'm very, very excited for our 10th open mic. Might even get like a bottle of bubbly or something like that. But until the next time, guys, you have been absolutely sensational this evening. Thank you for watching and listening, and yeah, we'll see you later.